What if you could reset today and still finish the year strong? Not with hype, not with more hustle, and not with another productivity hack. We are going to build the rest of your year the right way. Welcome to the Catalyst Table. This is where real life leaders, parents, coaches, and purpose driven people come to get aligned and take intentional action in the middle of their busy, full, messy lives. I'm your host, Lisa Jenkins. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a coach. And I have lived long enough to know that you do not need more pressure. You do not need to hustle harder. And you definitely do not need another system someone copied and pasted from the internet. You need tools that actually work. Tools that connect your head and your heart, tools that honor how God wired you, and tools that stop you from starting over every single February. So let's get honest, let's get practical, and let's get started. Every single year, we watch the same cycle. People get excited. They buy planners, they listen to podcasts, they write out goals, and then a few weeks in, real life hits. Kids get sick, bills blow up, energy dips, and suddenly, what was your year supposed to be? What were you supposed to do? What was that New Year's resolution? Did you forget? Are you saying that you might need to reset it right now today? And it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're incapable. It's because you've built your plan from the noise instead of alignment, instead of connecting your head and your heart. Believe it or not, I see this consistently. I see clients plan based on last year. I see leaders plan based on what someone else is doing. And then they all wonder why it doesn't stick. So before we talk about vision boards, before we talk about revenue goals, before we talk about leveling up, we need to talk about you. First, I'm going to give you a simple overview of your brain. And I know that there is way more to it, but today is all about simplifying it. So I want you to picture this in your head. You have two sides of your brain. So picture that, two sides. You have your logic side and you have an emotion side. Most people, believe it or not, build from logic only. Numbers, deadlines, checklist, but motivation lives in emotion. That's where your energy comes from. And when you don't engage both, when both are not connected simultaneously, your brain goes back into comfort. It slides back to what it knows. It does not just flip a switch because January 1st showed up. We're talking about flipping your switch manually, not on automation, not because that's just what you do January 1st. We're going to dive into your actual wiring. We are going to connect your head with your heart and your entire life, because that's where you're going to get results. We're going to work with your brain, with your emotions, with your logic, and we're going to connect it all. Before we get started, I want to let you know that in the show notes, there will be a guide on everything that we talked about today. You can go ahead and grab it. You can print it. You can put it in front of you and you can follow along. Or you can save it for after you listen to this episode and work through it in real time. But don't worry about taking a ton of notes today, because I want you to be focused on what you're hearing and apply it to your life. So now we're going to talk all about you. And I am super passionate about you developing yourself. And everything that you do in life must be filtered through who God created you to be, your actual wiring. And one of the ways that I help people move closer to who they are is through something called a DISC assessment. And I'm telling you that it is one of the best assessments out there. And DISC helps people identify who they are to the core, their personality style. So you might be sitting there thinking, know the DISC. I love the DISC. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. Or you might be thinking, I know nothing about it. Please fill me in. And so Again, I'm going to give you a simplified overview of the DISC assessment. There will be information in the show notes that's going to cover this just a little bit more. It's just going to go over what I am telling you so that you can help apply it to your life, to who you are. I see tension in marriages, business, and leadership. And what it comes down to is people not understanding how they are wired. So the DISC is just like it sounds, DISC. And each one of those letters stand for a personality style. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the D. I am a D. And I attack my year hard. High D's like bullet points, deadlines, and they move fast. And D personalities sometimes get frustrated when they feel like other people can't keep up with their speed. That is something I have really had to work on. Then you have your I personality style. They feel excited. They feel motivated. They love energy and they are full of it. And when it stops being fun, they drift. And then we have our S personality styles. They need structure, they need calm, and chaos will throw them off. There are support people. This is like routine, and they do not like a ton of change, especially if it's not warranted. And then we have our amazing C personalities. C's need clarity before committing. They need information. They need details. They want to close the door and they want to just be by themselves so that they can plan things, so that they can work through things. And pressure will stress and C personality style out. See how people are just wired differently? I want you to ask yourself, which one of those do I relate to more? It's not about right or wrong. It's not about good or bad. It's about who are you? We need to move closer to that. And when you are planning out your year, it is more about who you are and what your style is and what that style needs to plan for the year. That is often something that gets missed. And I promise you, it is a game changer. It is about alignment. God did not wire you accidentally. He knew exactly what he was doing. So we move closer to that. So after you understand who you are and you think about what it is that you need, and you start to apply that. And it can be very, very simple. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. I just want you to know it so you can move closer to it. Then we move into step 1. And step 1 is all about what you want, what you desire, not what looks impressive, not about the numbers, not what someone else is chasing. It's about what you want. Our wants are connected to our emotion, and we are taught from a very young age that our wants might not matter. And you may not relate to that, but I know that I do. From a little girl growing up, I was always taught, Lisa, you need to focus on what you need, not what you want. And I'll give you an example. Maybe it was I wanted a new pair of shoes so that I could wear the new pair of shoes to school and feel great, or maybe new clothes. But Lisa, you don't need the fancy new pair of shoes. You need a pair of $25 shoes. You need to just be happy with that and be grateful that you have a pair of shoes on your feet. And while I don't disagree with that because it's not about what we wear, but as a young kid, you really don't understand that. So we're told as young children, you need to focus on what you need. And we're constantly given that message over and over and over again. So when we get older, we have a very hard time connecting to what we actually want because our whole entire life we were taught focus on what you need. So it's almost like we block that off in our brain. So I want you to take some time and I want you to think about what are the things that you actually want? What are the things that would feel good to you? Maybe that is getting everybody around the dinner table at the same time. Maybe that's a better relationship with your spouse. Maybe that is your health. Maybe that is getting in a better financial situation. Maybe that is planning vacations and going on those vacations, not just planning them, but experiencing them. Maybe you're feeling like you need to be more connected with God. Maybe you want to read your child a book. Maybe you want to get on the floor and play more with your kid. Maybe you want to take them places and have dates with them. Maybe you want to build a community. Maybe that's the big want in your head. I want friends. I want a community. I want to volunteer. Grab a piece of paper and just let those wants flow out of you. Don't forget your business. Don't forget the team that you're building. Write it down fast, unfiltered, no judgment, messy. Remember, wants connect to emotion, and emotion fuels consistency. We were created to be emotional human beings, so we need to honor our emotions. We need to honor the things that we want. Okay, we're going to move on to step 2. I can keep going on and on. So step 2, we bring in the logic. The logic side of our brain is connected to numbers and goals, realistic things. The logic brain wants details. It wants things to make sense. It wants things to align. And most of the time, when people are planning for their entire year, they sit with a piece of paper and they write all of their goals out, but they haven't yet connected it with emotion. Traditional goal setting only hits one part of your brain. Remember, the logic part of your brain, the numbers part of your brain, the checklist part of your brain, and it pushes out that emotion. For anything to work long term, we have to engage both your logic brain and your emotional brain. That's where alignment comes in. So as we continue to walk through this process today, let's talk about how wants and goals are connected. Goals actually support your wants. So if you want health, what supports that? What are the numbers? What are the details? What are the logic things behind it that support it? Maybe that's movement 3 times a week. Maybe that's meal planning. Maybe go to bed by 10 o'clock at night. If you want a deeper faith, maybe it looks like church weekly, scripture daily, prayer with intention. Your goals actually serve your wants. We can't ignore the fact that we naturally want things, but we're closing it off. So this is about connecting it. So your goals serve your wants. They do not replace them. You need both of them. So now we move to one of the funnest parts, the part that I love, the part that when I am working with clients and when I am mentoring people, when I am training coaches, this in real time is the funnest part for me because I get to see them do this and I get to help them tweak it and I get to remind them of the things that they left out. So you're going to write a letter. Yep, you heard that, a letter in third person. So it's as if you already accomplished it. So when you write a letter today, you're going to read it on December 31st. It's like it already happened. And when you write this letter, you're going to take your list of wants and you're going to take your list of goals and you're going to include all of them in this letter. You're going to include your whole entire life. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. And you're going to start it out with dear. So, dear Lisa, you did it. You stayed consistent. You honored your family. You had dinner together 3 times a week. You read your child a book. You honored your health and you walked 3 times a week. You honored your calling. You volunteered. You didn't just volunteer at church. You built a community. You simplified your life. You asked God for wisdom every single day. You set your revenue goals and you reached them. You hit $500,000 this year and you gave generously. You didn't quit. Every day you got up and you were super excited about the day. You read your letter, you focused hard, and you did not let anything get in the way. Do you see how this connects your head, your heart, your wants, your goals? It is literally retraining your brain because distractions will happen. Storms are never going to stop coming. You got to learn to dance in the rain. So what we're doing with this letter is we're retraining your brain because your brain will lie to you. It will pull up all the things that didn't work. It will remind you of all the things that are not working. It will pull in details from last year. It will tell you how you're failing. Our brains are so finicky. And then our heart gets involved and it starts to get emotional and it's not aligned. So then your heart's arguing with your head. I want you to remember something. I'm going to go into a little bit more brain science here. Your head knows what things look like, taste like, feels like, and sounds like. It will always go back to comfort. It is up to you to pull it out of there. It is up to you to have that awareness. And writing this letter will help you create a focus in your brain so that you can always move towards growth, so that you can always recalibrate, so that you can always be in retraining mode. So when you're writing this letter and you're bringing all your goals and all your wants into this letter that you're writing, you're digging deep, but you're not just digging deep. You're putting logic and emotions on paper. You are not just flipping that January switch. You are manually resetting. Don't judge it. Just get a piece of paper and start writing. And this is where your personality style comes in again. We want to make sure that you're honoring who you are. So our D personality styles are going to write it in bullet points. They are going to want to get it done fast. They are going to forget some of the details. And if you're a D personality style, that is where I want you to just take it a couple steps further. Don't forget to connect emotion. If you're an I personality style, you might need some energy while you're doing this part. Turn on some music, get into it, set the mood right. And make it fun. Make sure that you add fun into your letter. Make sure that it's exciting and it's connecting you. And if you're the S personality style and you're thinking, I really need to do this, I need to structure it, how can I really get this in? I want you to schedule some time in your calendar. And I want you to think about how it's going to help your family, how it's going to help you. This is where you get to be selfish. This letter is just going to move you closer to feeling more structure. And if you're my C's, and you're out there and you're thinking, Lisa, I got to get all the detail together. Remember, C's like detail. They like information. I want you to put it on your calendar also right now and shut your door. Get it quiet. Get your details together. Think about the things that you need to, and then get it out on paper. Now, after you write that letter, after you have sat down with your wants, after you've sat down with your goals, and you get that letter out, remember, messy, not clean. Messy, just get it out. I want you to think about, what are the things that might pull me off track? What are the things that might get in the way from everything in this letter happening? What are the tasks? What are the patterns in my life that just keep pulling me off track? Most of it's repeated. It's very rarely anything new. So take some time to think through that. We have a homestead. So I have a garden and I walk out in my garden, and you might be able to relate to this, but there's these beautiful flowers growing. There's these beautiful plants growing, and then there's these weeds that come up around it. And the weeds often choke out my beautiful flower that is just trying to reach the sun. And you're the beautiful flower. The weeds are growing up around you and they're choking you. They're keeping you from moving and having this amazing year. It could be debt. It could be social media. It could be the comparison. It could be those relationships that are draining you, might be dragging you down. Is it too many voices? Too many people giving you opinions? I just wrote a blog on this. I will put it in the show notes. Pull those weeds. Protect your growth. Protect who you are. Protect who God created you to be. This is your year. You have many, many months to pull this off, many months to make this happen. And I want you to protect it, not just for yourself, but for your family, for the people that are around you, for your team, for the people who are counting on you, for the people who are waiting on you, the people who want to see you full of energy and life, not exhaustion and burnout. So once you've gone through these steps, once you've taken all of this on, once you've actually done it, and I don't want this to be another thing that you listen to that you don't actually put into action, then I want you to put your letter somewhere where you can see it visible. As I'm sitting at my desk recording this episode today, I see my wall. I have a letter my entire year, and then I have other things that I do that break it down, and I'm not going to go into that today. But I'm staring at it. It is in my face. Frame it, photograph it, put it on your phone. At first, because we're working on retraining your brain, you might need to read that every single day. But then you can move to maybe once a week. And this letter helps when you're off track. When you are feeling defeated, when you are having an off day, when you forget where you're going, when you forget the things that you committed to, read it and you get right back on track. I promise you it works every single time. That is how we keep your brain fit. That is how we keep your brain engaged. That is how we keep your head and your heart connected. Use it. Make it part of your routine. Remember, storms are never going to stop coming. You got to learn to dance in the rain. Now, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, I don't just need inspiration, I need help building this. This is where I step in. This is not a course. This is not a program. It's you and me. We will map out your wiring. We will define your wants. We will work on your goals. I help you put it into action. You may not need that. The guide with this episode may be enough. But if you're someone that I need support, in the show notes, I have put a link. Just click on it. Know this. I am here for you. You are not behind. You are not incapable. You might just need a little alignment with your head and your heart and how God actually wired you. So stop restarting, stop spiraling, stop shrinking. Let your light shine. Build, grow, win. That's what we're here to do. We are here to be a catalyst, to make an impact in this world, big or small. No hype, no hustle, no excuses. Catalysts just move. Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to grab all the good stuff in the show notes, and I cannot wait to see you next week.